What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be more for young producers and for those who are just getting into music producing. Being a music producer is one of those things that has boomed over the past few years, and more people than ever before are in the market for being a music producer, which makes it very competitive nowadays. Plus, with the internet and channels on YouTube like this one, producing is easier to learn than it has ever been before, which honestly, it can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but that's okay. Every producer should be able to know how to do one thing, and that is make good drum patterns. If you can't make good drum patterns as a producer, you're not going to be able to stand out. You're not going to make sales, but most importantly, you're not going to be able to inspire artists to actually hop on your beats and make songs that people actually want to listen to. You're always going to be a shitty producer with nobody nodding their heads when you play them your tracks. Okay, that's a little harsh, but that's why I'm doing this. I don't want that to be you. I don't want that to happen. I see it all the time. And that's why I'm making this video, so that doesn't happen to you. I mean, it's happened to me before until I learned a few tricks, and then it didn't happen anymore. By the way, if you guys need high quality drum sounds, I'm coming out with a new drum kit very soon in the next few weeks. It's gonna have everything you need. It's gonna have kicks, snares, effects, sample drums. It's even gonna include hi-hat MIDI patterns, which you can just drag and drop so you can get an idea of what you wanna do with your pattern. But if you wanna just use the preset MIDI that I provide for you, then you can do that as well. But anyways, yeah, today's video is gonna be helping you guys make good drum patterns and not make shitty patterns. The most important part of your drum patterns is gonna be your hi-hat pattern. Your hi-hat patterns is what gets people actually nodding their head to your music. And if you notice, some hi-hat patterns are actually mimicking artist flows. Like, artists will mimic the hi-hat patterns if you listen to them. Let's get into FL Studio here. I got a little loop pulled up. That's what it sounds like. I figured something like this would be good for the video. Getting like Pierre Bourne. Pff, the f. I'm getting Pierre Bourne vibes from this. I'm just gonna put a clap pattern down. So first off, let me get a hi-hat in here. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna go here, left click, fill each two step. Already it sounded fire, right? But here's where we're gonna actually get more into it. Cut some of them out so you can get some space between your hi-hats, and then you can get more creative from there. I like that. Typically, I'll just do like 2 bars and then just copy and paste it over. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go into rolls. We're gonna make some rolls. Do like a roll there. My workflows, I'm just like filling in space wherever I hear it. When you guys do your hi-hat rolls, one trick that you guys wanna do is take your note, extend it out for however long you want your roll to be. And this is for like quick rolls too. You wanna highlight it, go Option U, and that brings out the chopper. What the chopper is gonna do is it's going to chop your notes up into any configuration that you want. Using this time multi knob, you can go up and down and you can get whatever time that you want to do. So for instance, this roll could be that, or it could be that. So it can really do whatever you want. So that's a good trick if you want to work faster. Next thing that you do is do your lower notes. This is going to add a little bit of harmonics to your hi-hat, and it also just gives it a little extra bounce too. You want to create your bounce. That's the biggest thing. So whatever just gives it that bounce. If you're not nodding your head after you create your hi-hat pattern, then you did it wrong. By the way, if you hear scratching in the background, it's because I have this cat in here. This is Potato. He likes cooking up. He's a player. He's a little slayer. Look at this guy. He pisses me off, but look at how adorable he is. He's not mine. He's my roommate's.
Get the f out of my room, Potato.
Let's add these lower notes. All right, I like that a lot. All right, now that you've got your lower notes in there, you want to adjust your velocities. So I usually take the roll notes, drop them down a little bit, just slightly. You can see down below, it's just a little bit. And then with your lower notes, I like to drop those down about 50%. So right around there. And then maybe I'll bring them up a little bit. Now that we have that, I like to separate the hi-hats into a few different patterns. Whoa, it just like, I don't know about you, but the light got way brighter. It died, and now I look like I'm freaking in heaven right now. Now you can see my luscious locks, bro. Throughout the beat, so that artists can stay interested, you want to make sure that you have a few different patterns so that it switches up. You're having some variation. There's a little bit of differences here and there. So for instance, this will be like your first hi-hat pattern. And then for your second hi-hat pattern, go in here. And what I like to do is either just add a two-step on top of this, or I just like to fill it in with the two-step. Yeah, that's fire. And then for another pattern, maybe I'll cut out the rolls and the low notes so that it's just the two-step pattern. So that's just a few patterns. Maybe one of those patterns will be for the chorus, maybe one of them will be for the verse, maybe one of them will be for the bridge, blah, 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 blah. Next thing I want to talk about is the two-step variation. So let's go to this two-step. It really depends on the beat that you do. This workflow has really worked for like any beat that I've done recently, but it depends on the beat. So you have to make sure that whatever hi-hat pattern you do, it's catered to that type of beat. Maybe it doesn't even need the rolls. Maybe it just needs like a little bit of variation. So for instance, I'll show you some of that. I'll show you a little bit of variations that you can do with the two-step pattern right now. Biggest key to making hi-hats though is just keep it simple. Sometimes the two-step hi-hat pattern is the way to go. You don't need to really do anything else. But let me show you guys how to get a little bit of variation with your two-step. I like to delete up to 4 notes. I'll drop the second and the fourth note down a few velocities, and then I'll repeat that throughout. After I repeat that throughout, just to make it sound more natural, go Command A and then Option R. This will bring up the randomizer, and you can turn down your velocities just to make it more random. And then now your hi-hat pattern will sound like this. Gives it a little bit of a different bounce. Now let's go back to the regular two-step hi-hat pattern. Sometimes you might, like I said, sometimes it might not even need rolls. Sometimes you might only need to do something like this. Add just a few extra filler notes. So something like this. When in doubt, keep it simple. Do the workflow like I said. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It really depends on the beat, but keeping it simple is key. The only other thing that I could say with hi-hats is going into your miscellaneous functions, going to the shift knob. What the shift knob will do is it'll move your hi-hats a little bit later, so it'll give it a little bit extra bounce, and it'll sound a little bit more natural. Instead of the hi-hat being directly on the beat, it'll be like just a little bit pushed later. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Let's say I move this shift knob way up. See what I mean? It pushes it a little bit later. Let me find the right shift for this pattern here. I think right there sounds pretty good. And that is pretty much my workflow in terms of making hi-hats. This workflow is gonna help you guys in any beat that you guys are making. It's gonna make your workflow faster, and you're gonna know what to do when you're making hi-hats, so you're not like getting lost. I'm gonna be doing a whole series on drums, tips and tricks. Today's video is just hi-hat patterns. I'll be going over like kicks and snares and other stuff like that later on, so stay tuned for those in the future. Go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked down below. Yeah, also any artists out there who are looking for beats, I have a BeatStars link. I've been uploading pretty much twice a day, so go check it out. Link is in the description down below. I'm also doing a mixing service, so if you are an artist and you need your song mixed, go to my BeatStars. There's a mixing service link there. All you have to do is submit me your files, and I'll do a mix for you guys. Like I said before, I got a drum kit coming out soon. It's gonna drop. It's got a bunch of dope sounds. It's literally gonna be everything you guys need in one. You guys are not gonna need another drum kit. Dropping that kit, make sure all you producers out there go cop it and don't miss out. But anyways, with that being said, that's gonna do it for today's video. So make sure you go like, comment, subscribe, do all you gotta do. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.